Welcome to this week's WWE Raw Recap Show, brought to you by RP2 Division. Now here is your host, Ronald Ray.
Hello, ma'ams and sirs, and welcome to this week's WWE Raw Recap Show. Hope you folks are doing fine. I'm your host, Ronald Ray, your boy with a cornbread accent. This week's show, we answered two questions. First question, who would be the one to challenge Bianca Belair for her Raw Women's Championship? And two, who's the new number one contender for the United States Championship? This week's show will answer those questions. By the way, if you like this show and other shows that I've been posting on here, take that mouse gimmick and hit the subscribe button. Okay, now, enough with a shameless plug here. Let's get on with the show. This week's Raw starts out with the Raw Women's Championship Eliminator match, pitting Bayley against Alexa Bliss. Remember, the winner of this match will face Bianca Belair at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship. Coming to the ring first is Bayley with Damage Control co-members Dakota Kai and Io Sky. This brings out Becky Lynch, who comes out to chase away Sky and Kai to ensure this would be a one-on-one match. Good for Becky. Alexa Bliss will also make her way to the ring, of course. But before the match starts, Bianca Belair made her way to ringside to get a closer look to see who her potential challenger will be. Now with all that crap out of the way, the action starts, Bayley attempting to take down Bliss, but Bliss fights back. They have a sequence outside, then they get back in the ring, a suplex by Bayley for two. Bliss would come back and hit double knees to the midsection. And that's how the match started. Kept on going back and forth both ways. In the end, Bianca Belair pointed out that turnbuckle pad was removed by Bayley. The match spills out to the floor again. Bayley goes for a punch, but Bliss ducks, and Belair catches Bayley's fist and gets right on her face, saying, "Hey, don't punch me." Excuse me. They get back to the ring. Bliss hits Bayley. I think Bayley was supposed to really actually do a job of actually hitting the turnbuckle, that the exposed turnbuckle that she removed the pad for, but didn't come off like she hit it too hard. Anyway, Alexa Bliss will take advantage, head to the top rope, hit the twist of Bliss, and she gets a win. So it will be it will be Alexa Bliss going up against Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at Survivor Series. The two women will have a little face-off. A little graphics change on the Titantron triggers Alexa Bliss, and she goes into the Sister Abigail, but snaps out of it before hitting the move on Bianca Belair. Looks like we have a possession of Alexa Bliss Part 2, The Heretic, going on now. We have a small segment that went on, a little backboard trash talk that will lead to a match between AJ Styles and Chad Gable. Good back and forth showing off of each other's strengths. AJ does a Gable strike, backdropping Gable into the waiting arms of Big Otis. Gable will reverse an apron attack, slamming Styles on the apron. Then we have the heat on AJ Styles, who will mount a comeback. More back and forth exchanges, near falls, and submissions. But AJ Styles would pick up the win after nailing the Styles Clash on Chad Gable. I said it's pretty good match here. Um, guess we have a Alpha Academy against 4 members of, or this week it was there's 3 members of the OC, but Carl Anderson being in Japan defending his open weight championship. But anyway, like I said, it's a pretty good match here. Next up on the show is Judgment Day members Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominique Mysterio going up against Akira Tozawa and the Street Profits. Each team's heavy hitters started off Damian Priest and Dawkins. Dawkins had a headlock, but was shot to the ropes by Damian Priest, and pretty much the big man thing. We're not bunching for no shoulder tackles today. But Dawkins would get a little bit of shine. Then Priest would end up getting the upper hand, and the Judgment Day would take advantage. The good guys would come back and got the advantage with all of them getting their shit in. The good guys would come back while outside Damian Priest would throw Montel Ford into the tables. And that's how Montel Ford would start receiving the heat. Then he'll make the hot tag, of course. All 6 men got into it. The finish off Tozawa would get tagged in, cleans house. However, Priest would stop him from at the top rope, nails the border toss from the apron to the ring, allowing Dominic Mysterio to make the cover and pick up the win for the Judgment Day. Not bad stuff here. During the course of the night, we've seen Johnny Gargano and Dexter at one point go to the merchandise aisle or the merch stand and pick up a few gimmicks. Now we have Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis passing out the merch to the crowd. Miz would strike and attempt to steal the bag of money, and why in the hell is anyone carrying that kind of cash in a bag? Put that stuff in the bank or go ahead and spend it. Anyway, he was stopped by Adam Pearce. This all sets up for a ladder match featuring The Miz and Lumis. Next up, we have a nice little ladies match here between Io Sky and Candice LeRae. Sky would dominate the beginning of the match, but LeRae would take over for a pretty good portion of the match. Sky would go back on the offense, some back and forth, but in the end, it was Io Sky picking up the win after the moonsault. We now see Elias paying tribute to his injured tag team partner with his version of Eric Clapton's Cocaine. Just kidding. Supposedly it was a song that he wrote, selling the injury from last week. But on a serious note, bro, if what I read was true of the reason of your suspension, seriously, just because you're banging a porn star now doesn't mean you should pick up their habits. Keep with the weed, man. Stay away from the booger sugar. And this will bring out a match between Solo Sikoa against Elias. And this match was pretty much all Solo. Elias had a little bit of shining moment, but Solo will pick up the win using the spinning Solo. Oh, and we're not done yet because Sami Zayn and Solo would go on to attack Elias after the match. But Kevin Owens came in, made the save. Sami Zayn ran. Solo ate a stunner. And poor Elias, for some reason, had to eat a stunner too. We have another ladies match. I guess this is probably 2 of the best women in the company, at least. If not, of all women's wrestling. Asuka against Rhea Ripley. And they did not disappoint. Ripley would control a good portion of this match. Asuka would mount a comeback. Another interesting thing about this match, Asuka didn't have her usual makeup on. maybe more on about that a little later. Anyway, the action was spill out to the floor. Dominique got in the way of Asuka, saying, "Hey, you gotta go through me if you want, uh, before you hit my woman or my mommy." Back in the ring they go. Dominique would get involved again. Only this time, Asuka would spray blue mist in his eyes. Ripley would push Asuka against or into Dominique. Then she would hit the riptide for the W. Like I said, a pretty good match here. Um, maybe a gimmick change, but like I said, more about that a little later. And then now is main event time. Uh, Good match, but the biggest thing about this match was the ending and post ending. Rev gets in the way, gets bumped. Lashley goes for a spear, hits the spear on Rollins, but the ref was slow to make it count. Looks like finally the referee has his wits about him. Bobby goes for another spear, but Seth Rollins counters with a pedigree for the win. And of course, the big man does not like that one bit. Um, he confronts Footlocker when another Footlocker comes in. That one gets an accidental elbow from the Almighty One. Adam Pierce comes in. As Bobby was leaving, um, Bobby removes Adam Pierce out of the way, and Adam Pierce doesn't like it and tells Bobby Lashley that he is fired. And that's how the show ends. Of course, we do find out the next day that Bobby Lashley's not fired, but it's probably going to have to pay some fines and be disciplined somehow for attacking officials, including Adam Pierce, who apologized for his language. Um, Good show. And like I said, it looks like Asuka, from what I'm reading, put some uh, posts on Twitter. And look, guys and girls, all wrestling fans, uh, not all of y'all, but a few of them, few people, just need to understand that some fans don't um, see every little aspect of someone's career, especially someone like Asuka, who's uh, a lot of her career was overseas in Japan. So they probably didn't see every gimmick she ever did. And so when somebody they like, especially these days and times, I mean, who was it? Daphne, who posted some cryptic stuff on one of the social media sites, Twitter or one of them. Then after everybody's like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" And they did do a welfare check on Daphne, and she was gone. So when somebody like Asuka posts some kind of cryptic stuff, and them not knowing a past gimmick, show some kind of consideration. Yes, kind of say, leave a comment saying, "Oh, this might be more likely part of another gimmick." Don't go about calling people idiot when they're kind of scared because they've seen this thing happen before. So if somebody they really like and they're really kind of concerned, posting this kind of thing on Twitter at this point, Twitter, um, or in this case, Twitter, kind of kind of understand that not everybody sees every match of everyone's career. I mean, how many of you people who are AJ Styles fan um, follow him when he was in Cornelia, Georgia? I mean, of course, now you can go back and watch some of the matches on uh, YouTube and stuff. But were any of you people there? Did you watch a Wildside TV show um, when AJ started? So you probably didn't see everything that AJ did until, of course, Ring of Honor and TNA. So kind of same point, but still, like Japan. I mean, I know hardcore wrestling fans who don't really dig the Japanese stuff to begin with, so of course they're not going to know Asuka's career or anybody's career in Japan totally. So kind of have a heart, be understandable. Don't flat out call some people idiot because they didn't know this might be a gimmick change. I would believe these people who were like, "What's wrong, Asuka? What's wrong, Asuka?" are legitimately concerned about her well being, especially these days and times where you don't know. I mean, use her again like Daphne. It's like watched her on TV, heard other people talk about her. She's kind of happy-go-lucky type of lady. Then all of a sudden, this happens. So, like I said, don't beat people up too hard with words when they show a little bit of concern when they don't know. Okay, off of that soapbox. As before I got on my soapbox, Lashley's not fired. Um, Not too bad of a show. And I couldn't help myself making the cocaine joke. If that's true for Matt Riddle, basically they are selling injury, but everybody knows he's suspended. That daggum internet. Wish it'd go back to the good old days some days, but it ain't. Everybody knows he's suspended. But hopefully he does, get better, leave that cocaine alone. Weed's fine. I don't think they test for, because when I first heard he was suspended, I'm like, really? Y'all suspended somebody for weed and you let him wear 420 on his merchandise and ring warm up ring wear? But of course I had to get educated myself and seen that okay, obviously they I took an educated guess, but definitely looked into it. It's like, no, they don't suspend people for weed no more. But anyway, then they kind of demolished Elias there. Kind of sucks. Two pretty good women's matches. And like I said, Asuka and Rhea Ripley are two of the best. I see they continue. So see everybody, no reason to be upset because she didn't get no more contender this time. She goes back to her winning ways. Good match. Speaking of AJ Styles and Chad Gable had a good match. Can't kind of I don't know where all that's going from or going to, but kind of don't know where a lot of these storylines are going. But it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, looks like Alexa Bliss is getting mind warped again. I guess. Sorry, I had to put the little heretic joke. Repossess. The possession of Alexa Bliss Part 2. They're heretic. Hopefully, it doesn't end up like The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, which is, in case you people don't know, is probably voted like the worst. Well, not only the worst sequel of all time, like one of the worst movies of all time. Do not recommend that one. If you are a horror movie person, the original Exorcist and possibly 3 is decent. It's got its problems, but at least 3 is watchable. It's pretty good. Anyway, this ends it for the recap show for this week. You folks have a good one and take it easy. See or talk to y'all next week.
We here at RP Tube Vision would like to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also check out friends of the show Ecolife Natural for home-crafted candles, hand cloth, and other home and personal goods. Look them up on Facebook. Link will be available below the video. That is Ecolife Natural.